Okay, so next we're going to look at pulling our walls up. We have our tags set up. Everything should be assigned to a tag, and everything should be grouped. So if I click on these things, I can see they all light up as one, not a individual surface, for example. Alright, so if I want to pull these walls up, what I need to first do is double click to get inside the group, push pull, and click on that surface and start to bring it up. And in the bottom right hand corner you'll see I'm just going to drive it with a dimension 2400 millimeters, 2.4 high ceilings, which is a pretty standard height. 2.4 and 2.7 are, and that's brought my walls up all in one go. Alright, so the next thing we'll probably look at is we have, if I look at my image here, sliding doors on the entrance and a window on the side. So we'll look at bringing these items in from the warehouse and also cutting them, the holes in for the window, and placing these items and scaling them to size. So for that I'm just going to go to the warehouse up here, and I'm going to look and search for black sliding door. We'll see what comes up. You can also use the filters and put down here, popularity is not a bad one. Let's maybe go up here and switch this to likes. Now it's worth noting it did take me quite a while to find the door that I thought looked close to the image. So once you become good at SketchUp, you might find it's quicker just to model up your designs. There are some benefits with that. You don't have to compromise with something that looks similar, and you can get it exactly how you want. Now I'm just going to place that here outside of any group, and I can see it looks quite large compared to the zone, but that's alright, we can scale it to size. What I want to do is come in here with my tape measure, and I want to bring a guideline up 2100, and that is a pretty standard door size for a sliding door. So I just did a quick Google of that and found that before. Next I'm going to use my rotate tool and snap on the corner of this, but I do want it to be in the blue, so I'm going to use my cursor keys to drive it, or lock it into that there, and I can see 90 degrees in the bottom right hand corner, so it tells me I've got that right. And then what I'm going to do is bring this door using the move tool, zooming in right, getting the corner and placing it right there, and I can see it's obviously needs to be resized. So while the door is selected, I'm going to hit the S for scale tool, and I'm going to grab the middle node on the side, which lets me to drag it wherever I want, and I'm going to snap it to that edge. And then I'm going to grab the middle node at the top and snap it to my guideline that I created there. So got that to size, and next what I want to probably do is get inside the wall group, because I do want to fill in this part above the door, but I want it to be part of this same group. So I'm inside the wall group, and I'm going to get my rectangle tool. I'm just going to snap to the corner like that. I notice it's done that on the roof. I'm just going to delete that surface and push pull Just leave that surface on for a sec. Bring that down to there. And get rid of that. And that has given me the wall section in here. If I was fussy, I could try and delete lines and so on, but I'm not worried about these lines because they don't show up in Enscape. It'll look like one piece of wall. Now, next thing I have to do is look at this window on the side here. I'm going to go to the warehouse again and find it, but to save your time, I'm just going to hit pause and have a search. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to go with, and you can search this one up as well if you wanted to. Download, and yes, bring it into my model. Now, because I'm already inside the walls group, it's actually placing it inside the group if I click here. Now, it's a good example of how can I resolve this. What I'm going to do is click off it, get inside the group, select my item, Control X, click outside the group, Control V, and I've placed my window so it's not inside the wall group. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is work out where to cut my hole in the wall. I'm just going to have a look at this. Now, obviously we don't have the elevated plans, which helps us get this absolutely perfect, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of guesswork here. But I can see it's quite close to this wardrobe or this robe here. Now, a good tip is if you go to printing of this drawing out and you use a ruler, because we've scaled the drawing, that should be able to help us. For example, if you measure that distance there with your ruler, that should give you a little bit of an idea of what 600 is like, and then you could make an estimate of what that distance is there. So let's just go to my SketchUp model, and I'm probably going to use some guidelines here. So we know it's close to that little notch there. Alright, so if I get my tape measure tool, come zoom in right here, and I click on this surface and bring it across. Let's say I want a guideline about 300. Alright, am I happy with that? Let's have a look about there. Yep, I'll go with that. Okay, and again, I'm just going to have a look at that space there and try and get an idea of what size I'll make this window. Alright, so if that was 300, probably looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 12. Alright, so we might go I reckon I'll go 900 wide. So get my guideline, 900. Okay, so now I can begin to use this, keeping it in the blue axes, and I can snap my guidelines down. Waiting for it to go blue. Okay. And then a bit of a guide on height. Okay, it's getting probably pretty close to the top of that height, so maybe we might make it the same, 2100 on the height. And then we'll get a guideline down here about 1 meter, 1000. Okay, so now I'm going to get inside this wall. In order to cut through a wall, you need to be inside it, the group. So I'm going to click my rectangle tool, use my guidelines, and push pull. And then I'm just going to snap it to the back edge of that wall. And that has cut our window through. Okay, so the next challenge is making this fit. Alright, so what I'm going to do is again, M for move, making sure I get the bottom corner. And then we select our window, S for scale, and grab the middle node at the top, snap it to the top, middle node on the side. Okay. Alright, so we have our window and door in place. The only thing left to do is probably make a tag to keep my model organized. I'll just do a tag for doors and a tag for windows. So I can select on that one, entity info, doors, select on that one, windows. Alright, so before I move on, just to double check on the floor plan to make sure I haven't missed a window or a door. I do have a bit of a sliding door in here we need to consider by the look of it. So that is something, it's a bit of a unique door. Alright, that's the end of that tutorial for now.